So I'm going to the Christmas bar tonight.
I'm excited for you, but also I'm not excited for you.
I think this will be fine. I'll send you photos. I tried to go last year, and it was like I had a meltdown immediately, basically. You couldn't move.
Oh, that's my worst nightmare.
And it was all like finance bros and tourists.
Absolutely not.
So I'm hoping tonight is a little different, and we're going to a couple of events. I'm just like, I like the nights where I'm just Carlos +1 because he just like bops me around to a bunch of different stuff. So that's what's happening.
He's good at that stuff.
Yeah, he's really good at that stuff.
Thank you, Paula.
I got very little work done today, but right before you came over, I was writing about Holiday Touchdown, A Bill's Love Story.
I saw that open on your laptop, and I was really excited.
Written by our very own Vanessa Morono. For some reason. Kind of random. No offense, Vanessa.
Yeah. Is she historically a Bills fan?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. So I started researching.
Okay.
And she has a co-writer as well. And her co-writer were like, yes, we made multiple trips to Buffalo to feel out the vibes and understand the fans. So they're also not from Buffalo?
No, they're not.
So yeah, random.
That she's writing about the Buffalo Bills. That is extremely random. I, confession, really do want to watch it.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
I love a bad movie.
Okay. I support that.
But also, I don't know anything about the Bills. I don't care about the Bills.
Neither did she before she wrote the movie.
You know,
so
exactly.
Should we get to the show?
Yeah, let's get to the show.
Birthday episode.
This is one of your favorite episodes. Am I not mistaken?
No, it is.
Yeah.
I love this one.
I know you do. Okay, season 1, episode 9. This is the penultimate episode to the summer finale. Because apparently they had a summer finale, and then they came back, and they renewed for 22 more episodes for season 1.
For season 1?
Networks now would never.
No.
Isn't that crazy?
I know. A rewatch podcast of like a 2025 show is only going to be
6 episodes. Season 1, episode 9, Paradise Lost, released August 1st, 2011. So Paradise Lost is originally a poem by John Milton about the temptation of Adam and Eve by Satan and the expulsion from the Garden of Eden.
It's also a really good bar in the Lower East Side.
Paradise Lost? That's a fun name for a bar. Do you have any idea why it's called Paradise Lost?
Probably Regina being like expelled temporarily at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, that's a good guess.
And then
there's no wrong answer.
It's actually kind of an odd choice of a name because I feel like more and more people are coming back together this episode.
Right. Last episode would have been good for Paradise Lost.
Agreed. They didn't have a painting name that encapsulated like awkward birthday dinner with your bio mom and your mom that is mad at your bio mom and also you're mad at everyone involved.
And your car shopping.
And your car shopping. And then you crash your car. And then your best friend is dating your sister. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Tough one to do.
It is. I think I just took it literally. Like Paradise Lost. Paradise being like the quote-unquote harmony that the family had, and now it's gone because of Regina.
Yeah, and it's really bad. We open on this really cool alternate universe scene, though.
Yeah. Catherine comes in the kitchen, and who we think is Daphne is listening to music or doing something at the bar.
She's doing something at the bar.
And then Catherine goes, Bae. And we're like, Bae?
And she doesn't respond at first. And you're like, well, yeah, because she can't hear her.
And it's because I think she was listening to music.
I think she's like on her phone or something.
I've been calling her New Bae or Day. And then new Daphne is Bathne.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. But New Bae or Day is hearing. Extremely jarring to hear Kayla Clo's real voice.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And I was like, yep, wow, she is really faking that Jeff accent.
This must have gagged audiences because they did not get a lot of press on the early season of the show.
Yeah, they did not.
So I think if you were watching for the first time, you were like, wait, Katie LeClaire's not... Like, I think people thought she was deaf.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, what a twist.
And they're kind of disappointing.
Yeah, a bit disappointing. I think my friends and I remember we were watching and I was like, wait.
Why does she sound like that?
Why does she sound like that? Yeah.
And then she is at Buckner, and she spots New Bay or Bethany.
She's at like a coffee shop.
Yeah, because she's wearing the Buckner uniform.
Yeah.
And then she
which
spots...
still looks bad on her. I don't know what it is about the way they do it on Daphne. I'm sorry, Day. That like makes it look so frumpy, but she looks frumpy. And it's the same uniform Bay wears most days, and it looks quite cute on Bay. But yeah, she pops outside and sees
Bethany signing with Regina, and she's wearing
Vanessa Morano.
Did you know the hearing aids are on her ears incorrectly?
I did not clock that.
She has hearing aids in her ears, and then her hair is pushed so far behind her ears that like the processors that go behind the ears are being pushed up and away, and they're poking out. So they're not on her head correctly. It seems very uncomfortable.
They wanted to make sure audiences caught it.
Exactly, because like she has long, curly, gorgeous hair that would easily cover hearing aids, but they shoved her hair behind her ears.
Could have just like put it in a ponytail, a top bun.
Yeah, literally. But no. And instead, Bethany is simcomming yet again.
Some things have changed, but not the fact that Regina's gonna simcom.
It's crazy. And then Day is with Emmett. Oh wait.
Yeah. No, Emmett pulls up.
No, Bethany is with Emmett.
We need to just call them by their normal names, Kara. Fine. This is stressing me out.
You're right. As I was writing the notes, I kept getting really confused.
Yeah. Vanessa Morano's character,
I guess, is dating Emmett in this alternative timeline.
Yes. So Emmett pulls up, and Vanessa Morano clocks that Kitty LeClaire is staring at her as she's signing to Regina. She gets up. She goes to Emmett. She says, "That girl won't stop staring." Emmett says, "Let's give them something to stare at."
And then they kiss.
And it's kind of tame.
Yeah,
it was it's not as sexy as the kissing in the last episode even.
It's because she's deaf and Emmett has a thing for hearing girls.
So it's not as hot for him.
Yeah. But it's all a dream.
Yeah.
Real Daphne. The Daphne we know wakes up.
Yeah. She wakes up and she's shocked.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Regina, who's staying at Melody's house.
And Melly says, "It's been 48 hours. Get the hell out of here.
You gotta get out of here." Doesn't feel like that long.
No, but at the same time, I also understand, like, the longer you stay away, I think the worse it's going to be. So you might as well just go and talk. But also 2 nights.
I kind of disagree also. I think let the dust settle for longer than 48 hours.
How long do you think is appropriate?
I don't know. I mean, I guess with their birthdays coming up, it's like, well, you got to figure this out before then.
Maybe that's the incentive to go home. Well, that wasn't even her incentive. Melly was like, "Get the hell out of my house."
Yeah, I think Melody just really wanted her space back. She was like, "Give me the couch back."
Also, they do have a river view. Did you know this?
No.
There's a view of the river.
I don't know. Talking about this damn river. I keep not noticing.
It's beautiful.
Okay.
It's behind the couch, out the window.
Okay, I'll go back and look.
Yes, please. Oh, and yeah, and there's him coming.
Yeah.
Melly is deaf. She can't hear you.
I don't know why Regina does that.
We're going to say this for the entire series.
But I really need to know why that choice was made. There had to have been someone who was like, no, the hearing audiences will like this. It's actually quite jarring.
For Marlee Matlin, I don't get it. This is such a simcom heavy episode too.
Because it's a Regina heavy episode. And
That's
those
true.
are basically synonymous.
Well, Bay and Daphne's birthdays are coming up. Yeah. And Bay really, really, really wants a Volkswagen car. I Googled this car. It's real.
Yeah, it's so cute.
It is.
Do you like it? I love it.
I think it's cute. It's the Volkswagen Type 181. In the US, they called it the thing.
Yeah, Bay is like, "Daphne, they have to get us cars for our birthday because they got Toby a car last year.
Therefore, we get cars.
I'm all for equality, but it is crazy. Did you get a car for your 16th birthday? Well, 17. Is it 17?
It's 17 New York. No. I drove my parents' car to school. It was like my car, but also my parents also drove it. I don't know. I always say it's my parents' car.
But it was a spare.
It was an extra car they have, yeah.
So there was a car dedicated to you in the driveway.
To me, my brother, yes. Either my brother can drive, yes, so yes, it was just me.
Yeah, let's be clear. Your brother was too young.
My brother was in middle school. Yes, I had a car that I drove to school.
But you weren't gifted like a brand new car with a bow on it.
No, not at all. My mom had this car. She got the car in like...
Don't be shy. What kind of car was it?
This is not going on the pod. Were you gifted a car?
No. I learned to drive late.
Oh, that's right.
Like, I got my license at 17, but I got my license and proceeded to not use it. And then I went to college, but then I came back to LA in the middle of college, and I was like, oh, fuck, I need to, like, actually be able to drive. We had 2 cars, and my mom took one to work, and my dad took one to work, but I went to school down near his work.
Mhm.
So usually he would drive down, and I would drop him off at work, and then take the car and go to school, and then pick him up at night. And then my parents offered to match funds with me and take some money out of my college fund. So, like, I paid half, they paid half
Okay.
for a used car. It was a Fiat 500e, which they only sell in California and Oregon.
Why?
Because it's an electric car that can only go like 100 miles on a charge. So there's so few places where it makes any sense to have one.
Okay.
So not a super practical one, but it's so cute and little. And I was really bad at parking. So I was like, I want something really small that I can just like whip into any spot.
Yeah, this originally was my mom's work car, and now it's my brother's for college. I don't know why she chose it, because it was way too big for the 2 of us.
It's a nice car.
It's a nice car. There's issues with it. It doesn't have a lot of mileage, but still, like, so many problems with the tires. I don't know. And that might have been my doing. So sorry. Sorry to my brother.
Put some miles on that thing.
Okay.
Where are we at?
Where are we? Okay, car. Bay is fully signing.
Yeah,
Daphne's like,
Bay is signing about the car.
and Daphne's like, you're really good. What's going on?
Then Regina comes back to the Kenish house.
And they see her through the window, like, oof.
And Daphne goes upstairs to confront her, and Adriana is there.
Yeah.
So clearly she's been filled in, and she has been holding down the fort, because Regina says, thanks for being here. But I didn't love, Daphne comes in and is like, what are you doing here? And Adriana's like, hey, respect your mother. I don't think what she said was disrespectful.
She genuinely wants to know what you're doing here.
She also, the last time they interacted, Daphne said, I want you to leave. And she hasn't gotten a call or a text or anything. Like,
not a warning that she's coming back.
Yeah, no heads up. So I think it's fair to walk in and say, what are you doing here? Also, it's only been 48 hours.
And there's him coming. Again, Daphne is furious, and there's him coming in 2 languages.
Regina's like, I'm still your mother. You still have to show me respect. I hate that. I hate that shit.
Yeah.
Regina has to, like, climb off her high fucking horse with Daphne. She needs to be like, you're right, I fucked up. She doesn't fucking apologize for anything.
Does she ever for this? I don't think she does.
I think she refuses to. Like, she's very stubborn about it. Yeah. I think she's just like, I don't know. It's just really damaging to their relationship. But
and Adriana's also mad. She's like, why the hell didn't you tell me? I think Adriana would have kept it a secret.
I think, well, Regina says I didn't want to implicate anyone else.
That's
which
fair.
I think is fair. That's a lot to put on another person.
Especially your mom.
Yeah. And I think I'm glad for Daphne's sake that she didn't know. Because again, for it to be a conspiracy where like everyone knows but you is really fucked up.
That Adriana was like, well, I always assumed you cheated.
She says, what did you think? Daphne was blonde-haired and blue-eyed. She's like, well, I thought Angela was right.
Yeah, I thought you cheated, but it's fine because I love her.
Daphne would still be related to Adriana in that situation, too.
What do you mean?
Like, it doesn't really matter to Adriana if Daphne's dad is Angelo or not, because Angelo is just some guy to her.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant, like, being sister brother, but that's not what you meant. Yeah, no, you're right.
Daphne and Emmett are chatting, and Emmett's like, girl, you gotta forgive your mom. What? Why is everyone pushing Daphne to forgive her?
I know. Well, he didn't really say that.
He said, like, she feels really bad.
And he said she's been sitting on the couch constantly for 24 hours a day. It's been 48 hours. It's been 2 days. Haven't seen much of it. You've been at school. You've been doing God knows what with Bay.
Yeah, he hasn't been there. That's such a man thing to be like, well, I'm gonna play devil's advocate in this moment. And be like, well, maybe you should forgive her.
Right.
What about the other side? And it's like, just be there for her. Just support your friend for once.
Same thing as last episode. Like, immediately goes, what about Bay?
Yeah.
What if you told Bay? Immediately thinking about not Daphne. Interesting.
Once he starts not having feelings for Daphne anymore and his attention is elsewhere, he is like way less of a friend to her.
He is. Yeah.
I worry we're entering territory of like, it's Emmett friend zone territory. Oof. I don't know. I don't love the way that feels. Anyway, John and Catherine consult their lawyer, and she's like, it would take more years to get custody than Daphne has until she's an adult.
Right. The girls are going to be 16 tomorrow. It takes years to get custody. They will be adults by then.
And if you can evict Regina, but she has the right to take Daphne too. Personally, if I were Daphne in this situation and I couldn't reach a place where I could forgive Regina, I would just like get emancipated.
You make it sound like it's easy. Is it?
I don't know. I assume for someone with the full resources of the Kenishes behind them, it would be easier.
What does it mean to be emancipated?
It just means that your parent no longer has legal rights over you before you're 18. So, like, if they evicted Regina, she could be like, I'm gonna continue to live with them, and you can't do anything about it.
That's an interesting option.
Like, obviously, that doesn't happen.
No.
But I was just thinking about, like, what I would do. I also don't think Daphne has not been like, yes, I want my parents to have custody of me.
No, not at all. She's just like, I just want to stay there.
Yeah.
Just sleep for a little bit. Also, again, it's been 2 days.
Yeah, it's all so fresh. But yeah, I think it's interesting to me that never comes up as an option. Just especially, I think Daphne could totally get emancipation because of Regina's track record as a mother, frankly.
For sure. Do you think John and Catherine would support that, though? Instead of having them be her guardian?
Yeah, I wonder.
I don't know if they would be super on board with that.
I think John would, but Catherine wouldn't.
Okay.
Because she's much more empathetic towards Regina.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Daphne goes to school, and
Melody also says forgive your mom.
Yeah, she does that chipper parent thing where she's like, how'd it go? Was it good? With that, like, signature Marlee Matlin wide-ass smile that she has. Like,
she did because she loves you.
Yeah, she's like, she loves you. It's fine. And yeah, but they're at basketball practice.
John is still the basketball coach.
John is the basketball coach, but he's signing much more,
barely.
Okay, barely, but remember in the last episode how we were like, John hasn't been signing at all?
He would still be impossible to understand, considering the things he's saying.
And
like the 2 signs he's doing in between.
I wonder what happened. I wonder if that was a character choice or if that was D.W. Moffat's choice. Or not like choice, but if he wasn't picking it up fast enough to sign more.
I don't know, actually. It makes sense for like a grown adult to like only know like a few signs. You're slower to learn at that age.
I mean, and they're all sports terms.
Yeah, he's like offense. He does the sign for offense and team, and that's kind of it.
He describes his new sign name.
Oh.
Hard ass with a J. How do he didn't do it.
He didn't.
He just described it. How would we visually? I like tried to do that.
I have no idea.
Would it be like a J on your butt?
I did see that today, and I was like, I don't even know the sign for hard ass.
Well, he just signed
hard, but like maybe there's a different.
Exactly. I like started doing things. I'm like, that wouldn't be right.
I don't know.
Okay.
There's determined, which is not really hard ass. Yeah.
Anyway, love his imaginary new sign name, whatever.
Yeah. Faye and Emmett are on a little lunch date, and they're gonna eat the grossest burgers I've ever seen. They look like the Krabby Patties from SpongeBob, but like, I don't know, they just look really unappetizing.
Well, Bae even says the food here sucks.
Why are they there? To show the board.
Yeah.
The billboard.
I feel that they could have been there without eating. They could have just like taken a walk.
But just a little soda.
Yeah. No, the burgers look like shit. They look really bad. I do want to circle back. Did you just describe them as gross and then compare them to Krabby Patties?
No, it's not Krabby Patties. It was it's some other burger on SpongeBob.
Oh, they make like a gross burger on SpongeBob, right?
It looks like the gross burger on SpongeBob. Because I know Krabby Patties are supposed to be delicious.
The nasty patty.
Can I see? It looks like the nasty patty.
You're so right. It totally does. Yeah, but she's there to say, look what I did.
I'm Axe Girl. She finally gets to drop the reveal that she's Axe Girl without being cop blocked by Daphne.
Yeah. I'm so glad we got here because I feel like there were a few episodes where we weren't getting any of Bae's like street art side.
That's true. Emma is super supportive.
He's very excited. And she wants to, quote, bomb the billboard near Buckner for her birthday. That's the reveal. Yeah. And she asks Emmett for his help.
Leave him out of it.
That's also how I feel. She didn't need any help before Ty came along.
Maybe because this board is extra big and it's really high up that it's a two-person
Yeah,
job.
I think she really just needs him there to hold the ladder, honestly.
But later he does it by himself, which we'll get to.
Yeah, and then back at practice, Daphne is trying to make her shots, and this one girl keeps fumbling the ball.
This team kind of sucks. I would be furious too.
Yeah, I was watching it and thinking about you and being like, I can't relate to this, but I bet Kara can.
I played basketball from the ages of 7 or 8 to 17.
That's a long time.
So 10 years of basketball. Those girls suck. Daphne does a very easy throw to this girl, fully drops it. And then next play, throws the ball back to the same girl. She shoots as if she's never thrown a basketball in her life.
Yeah.
And then, okay, I couldn't see what they were signing because the captions were blocking their signing captions.
Oh, the caption. Okay.
Like the Hulu captions were blocking like the Switch to Birth captions. So the two of them exchange words, and then Daphne shoves her to the ground.
Daphne comes up and says, "Can you make your shots?"
Okay.
And this girl says, "Whatever, Kobe." And then Daphne shoves her to the ground. It is such hard. It's so comical the way this girl falls. She slides on her butt into the wall. She's fine.
She's completely fine.
She's fine. Kind of a dick thing to say. She also gets up in her face. Daphne's not looking to push her. And this girl gets up in her face as she's signing whatever Kobe. So I think it's that girl's fault.
I kind of loved it.
I loved it. I want Daphne to get in more physical altercation.
Do you ever witness a fight at your school?
No, it wasn't that kind of school.
I only witnessed a fight once in middle school.
See, I didn't go to middle school. I think that's when they mostly happened.
Depends. Yeah, there were more in middle school for sure. It was in Spanish class, and one kid said something really annoying to another, and he punched him in the face.
It was in class?
It was right before class started. The teacher wasn't in the front yet talking to us.
Did people circle around and start yelling, "Fight,
oh, yeah.
fight"? Really?
It happened in a blink of an eye.
Whoa.
But yeah, nothing happened after the punch. The kid, ran away crying.
Damn.
But he was notoriously known as being this extremely annoying kid, so we were kind of nice. Sorry
was
to
he
him.
better? Was he better after that?
Yeah, he's kind of hot now, so maybe bullying does help.
Yeah, and then Daphne comes home and Regina's like, "I heard you got in a fight." Not really. I think it's only a fight if the other person, if there's
she pushed her back. Would fight be two shoves? I think a fight is shove, punch,
I feel
punch.
for it to qualify as a fight, both parties have to engage.
Yeah, that's true. And only one person engaged, which was Daphne.
Yeah.
So there was an altercation.
There was an altercation at school, and
Simcom.
yeah, Regina Simcom Vasquez is like, "You got in a fight? What's going on?" "Girl, we know what's going on. It's you.
You're the problem.
You're the problem."
No,
which John even says right after she pushes her.
Melly says, "That woman is her mother."
Melody was pissing me off this episode too.
I really don't like what they do with her character.
I think she's justified about her Bae hatred in this episode from her perspective, but I feel for Bae.
Yeah.
And I'm also, as a teenager whose boyfriend's family did not like me, I was yeah, I remember this feeling, and that sucks for Bae. So
it's awful.
Yeah. But yeah, Regina's and I'm here to work things out with you.
And Daphne says, "I'm gonna live with my real parents." Ouch.
I'd want to move into the Kenish house too, honestly. It's so much swankier.
And the people there didn't lie about you being switched to birth.
Exactly. So yeah, and then Bae is at Emmett's place, and she's showing him the options, the art rough sketches for her birthday. I was
Those sketches, they look like they're drawn by a 7-year-old.
With crayons.
Yeah.
And we know that Bae has that art studio with thousands of dollars of high quality supplies, and this is the best she can do. I know they're rough sketches, but they're really not good. I think this is one of the only times we see the unfinished work of her street art.
Yeah, this is the only time we see it. It's not good. Yeah. And then Melody comes in and she sees the two of them being all flirting, and she immediately clocks something is going on with the two of them.
Yeah, they have such a good exchange.
She and Emmett have such a good exchange in front of Bae.
I feel so bad for Bae. I like that Emmett's kind of signing behind her head, so she can't even really see him, the angle he's at, in which she wouldn't understand him even if it was right in front of her. But
I also think Vanessa Morano does such a good job, because she goes up to Melody and is like, "Hi, nice to see you." And Melody says, "Oh, it's really nice to see you. You look just like your mom. And then Vanessa Moran does this really great thing with her eyes go completely vacant, which is such an experience of like when you first learn to sign and like a fully deaf person signs at you. We've all been there.
Yeah.
And Vanessa Moran killed it. She got it. But she does this thing that drives me crazy. And I also think it's kind of rude, where she's trying to understand what Emma and Melody are saying, but she's trying to translate out loud.
It's also clearly not for her. They're not signing to her anymore.
Also, or maybe keep it inside your head. Those are inside thoughts, right?
Well, they're for us. They're out loud for us.
I know,
But
it's
I
all
agree
for
with
hearing
you.
audiences.
Oh, yeah, and then Melody says, how long have you guys been hanging out? And Bay's like, oh, I don't know what this means, and signs hanging out. And Melody goes, oh, so funny. I don't know what this means either. She's so cunty to Bay. I feel so bad.
I know.
But it's so funny. And it's just like being a teenage boy. He's like, why don't you get out of here?
Why don't you go get us dinner? Thank you.
Yeah.
Now we're back at the Kennish house.
Oh, yeah. And Catherine and Daphne get to have this sweet mother-daughter moment.
Yeah, they're raiding the fridge trying to figure out what to eat for like a midnight snack, I guess.
Yeah. And they're both so dorky in the same way.
It is.
When they're signing about shrimp.
Pickle.
Ugh, I cringed. But good for them that they get to have each other.
Daphne says, I eat shrimp. That's not vegetarian.
It's pescatarian, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shrimp is not a vegetable.
Shrimp are the roaches of the ocean.
I like shrimp. I'm eating shrimp tonight with that.
I know you do. You like seafood in a way that concerns me.
Okay, it's yummy and good for you.
I know, that's the popular opinion, but it grosses me out.
We're back at Emmett. I think Bay is gone now. Maybe she went home.
Bay is left. Emmett's not doing Bay any favors because he's so unsubtle when Melody's like, hey, so you guys are maybe dating and Bay's signing is bad. How are you guys even able to talk?
Which is a fair question.
Totally fair.
Communication is so vital for any relationship.
Yeah. And she's like, it's going to be years before you guys can fully converse, especially because, again, Bay is not taking lessons. Emmett's just like teaching her.
Which is why Emmett later says, I'm going to take speech therapy.
Emmett's timing is so terrible. She's like, I'm concerned that you're changing for this girl. And he's like, and another thing.
I'm going to change for this girl.
I'm going to change for this girl.
And Melly, as I would too, is having a heart attack.
Yeah. He's never been interested before.
Ever. Yeah. She understandably isn't happy. And then I was kind of just like, man, I wish they did not add the speech therapy storyline of like him changing for her, but maybe that also tracks with his character.
I don't think he follows through with the speech therapy.
No, he ends up going to speech therapy at Carlton.
He does it like twice, and then he's like, no.
Okay. Yeah, I think he tries, and then he's like, this is stupid. Maybe that's what he needed to do.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity.
I think it's definitely solely for Bay, but then also could be like a curiosity as he becomes more exposed to the hearing world too. Because Emmett's much more like, he's got 2 capital D deaf parents.
Yeah, and also he's been interacting with the Kennishes more.
Yeah.
Who are fully hearing. So I think because he's hanging out with them and Toby and whatnot, I guess.
I know. I wish it had just been full stop.
Yeah,
No.
I groaned when he mentioned the speech therapy thing.
Yeah, he's going through it. And then Melody says the statistic. She says
famous statistic.
85% of deaf hearing relationships don't work.
Okay, this is not a real statistic, but I have heard this a million times. It's always like 85% or 90% of deaf hearing relationships or marriages don't work out or they don't last more than 5 years.
How is that even calculated?
I think mainly surveys. But I was trying to do a little research, and I, again, could not find that study. The only time someone mentioned it was from an article in the New York Times in the 90s about Deaf President Now. But that wasn't cited, so that's not helpful. And then someone did like their dissertation on deaf hearing relationships at some college. And he was saying that statistic specifically is based on Alexander Graham Bell's research on deaf hearing marriages.
Fuck that man.
Fuck that guy.
Should we talk
He was
about
very
it?
against deaf hearing marriages, or like just deaf people procreating at all. So he was like, God forbid they give birth to evil, quote unquote evil deaf offspring. So I think he kind of was like, well, it's never going to work. if they're together. And then he was also very into the segregation of deaf and hearing people. And deaf people need to be segregated so they could learn English.
Weren't both his mother and sister deaf?
Yes.
Alexander, I hope you're having fun in hell.
Yeah. The only other study I found was by Cochlear Americas.
Okay, so a group that would have a financial benefit in promoting.
Right.
Okay, got it.
Poop endorses pee. Like, I don't...
Even the current, like, statistic, what, like 50% of marriages end in divorce is, like, a warped statistic.
How is it? I think that's also how I feel about, like, the deaf hearing marriages thing. It's such a small pool of people.
Yeah, and also relationships end for all kinds of reasons.
I think it's an extra barrier, but I don't think it's the sole cause of deaf hearing breakups. I say this as I have a hearing wife. So every time I hear the statistic, I get...
Yeah, obviously we mistake.
I'm like, oh, don't tell me that.
I mean, Emmett says in the show, he's like, just because
you got that read...
Yeah, just because you read that on the internet doesn't make it true.
Work, Emmett. You're so right.
And then Bay is exterior driveway back at the Kenish house.
Ambush.
Regina runs at her.
Jumps.
It's scary.
Jumps
in
out
the shadows. They're like in the dark. And she's like, please forgive me. And then she tells this really intense story about sneaking into Bay's piano recital when she was 7. And listen, I did tear up a little bit, but that doesn't mean that the story isn't also creepy.
I think it's so creepy.
She says, I snuck in and you were 7 years old and you were trying to get a drink of water and I helped you. She's like, I wanted to snatch you away and bring you home with me. But then your mom came out and she took you back inside. And it's like, okay, so you almost kidnapped her?
Is that supposed to be encouraging?
I guess because she feels like Bay's hurt because Bay feels like Regina didn't want her.
And that's exactly what she says, like, but you didn't take me, or...
It's not Bay being like, well, you didn't kidnap me, so fuck you, Mom.
You didn't commit a federal crime.
Yeah. And then Regina turns around and goes to Catherine and bulldozes her way into birthday plans.
Yeah.
Like, immediately. I don't know what about that interaction encouraged her to be like, you know what? I'm going to show up for Bay's birthday.
My girls clearly love me and adore me right now.
And Catherine's like, if it was just about me, I would include you. Because Catherine's being weirdly forgiving. But the girls don't want you here.
And that's kind of it, right?
Yeah, Catherine tries to pretend that they don't have plans at all.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the next day, the girls wake up and John's like, you guys feeling sick? Because we're going car shopping and I told school you were sick.
My parents have never done that. I've never played hooky.
Oh, I played hooky so much. I got pulled into the office with my mom senior year of high school because they were like, she has too many absent days. Like, if she takes another one, she won't be able to graduate. And my mom was like, what do her grades look like? And they were like, well, she has straight A's. And my mom was like, okay, so she's going to graduate. And if she needs to take more days off, it's fine. Fuck you guys. And then they just let me continue to miss school.
My parents would never.
I think I would be pissed if I woke up and my parents were like, surprise, you're not going to school today. Like, that wouldn't work for me personally.
Okay.
But you know what? For them to be like, we're going to get you a car.
That's totally fine. Bay's thrilled on top of the world.
Oh, of course. And yeah, and we get the reveal of the car that she wants. And
I think it's crazy to get Daphne a car without talking to Regina.
Especially that random ugly car they pick out.
It's a Volvo.
It's so ugly. It's so boring. I hate just like a random gray car. Bay gets a cute, gigantic mess of a thing that's like so her personality, and Daphne gets a corporate gray ass car.
Is that what Daphne wanted? No, John points out that it has good mileage and it's a good price.
Yeah, Daphne doesn't really want one. She just kind of picks one at random.
Right.
And then they all pull up exterior driveway and Regina is waiting for them in the driveway. And
it's like, what the hell is this?
What the hell? Melody said you weren't at school. That's kind of a scary call to get. To be like, Daphne's not at school.
That is scary. And then they all start fighting about the car. And Daphne's like, fine, I'll just return it myself. Fully backs up into Bay's brand new thing.
This was crazy. I understand that they're all shouting and she's overwhelmed or whatever, but that doesn't make you just like fully back 10 feet into the car behind you.
Don't you remember that Bay was behind you?
You're like boxed in. I don't know. It's kind of like the episode where she's at Buckner after the cooking class and she's like so stressed out and she walks into the street. And it's like, you're telling me that I'm supposed to believe that just because Daphne's like overwhelmed and stressed out, she's like, I'm just gonna not look where I'm going, head down and walk right into the road.
Maybe this is a Daphne thing.
I guess.
She loses her eyesight as well. Doesn't see cars. She's car blind. Doesn't see base cars.
Stress-induced car blindness.
Exactly. Her face is so funny after she hits the car. And then apparently it's $2,000 worth of damages.
Yeah, it really doesn't look like it should be that much.
That seems very high. I'm sure Bay's car is fine because it was meant to be like a military grade tank.
Yeah, it probably looks better with a little dent in the bumper.
I know.
So yeah, and then Daphne's like in bed later and she's all emo about it, and Catherine comes in.
Yeah,
and she doesn't see Catherine right away when she comes in.
Catherine's right in front of her.
This, again, it's her, when Daphne's upset, she cannot see.
I also feel the footsteps, though. I always felt the footsteps of my parents walking down the hallway to my bedroom, even if I was sitting on the bed. But Daphne's in her own world, and she's sad, and she's like, I hate my birthday, and I hate my mom, so.
And then Catherine is like, says to John, like, we can't help Daphne. Like, she needs Regina right now. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, I don't know if she needs her mom.
I think she needs her mom to stop acting this way. But anyway, and then Bay and Emmett are going to tag the billboard. But first they have a little convo where Bay's like, I think we need to tell Daphne that we're together. And Emmett's like, she's got a lot going on right now.
This is actually the worst time to tell her. And he's right, I think.
I agree with him, I think.
Yeah. Can you wait a week?
I think it would have been better to tell her immediately. Like, Emmett should have immediately been, after she confronts him about liking Bay, and then he goes and kisses Bay, he should have been like, hey, Daphne, you were right.
That should have been the time. But
yeah, that was the time. But that ship has sailed, and now I do think they should not tell her for a minute, because she's really going through it.
I agree.
And then they're climbing up to tag this billboard, and this does not feel realistic. The cops, like, they hear sirens. The cops are showing up. They're pulling up.
Yeah, the cops give chase.
Yeah.
And Bay and Emmett flee, and then they hide behind Bay's new military-grade truck.
Very recognizable if the cops were looking for them.
It's a bright blue car.
It just felt like, are they really going after street artists that hard? Maybe they are. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe it's a low-crime area.
True. But I also don't really believe that there would be, like, an abandoned billboard near Buckner.
Right. Neither do I. It's for the plot. They hop like a barbed wire fence, and the two of them cut themselves. Bay ends up cutting her hands, and Emmett slashes his stomach.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He just, like, throws himself over the fence.
Yeah.
You don't really see how he gets there.
No, we just see him after that. He has a cut on his stomach.
Yeah. And then it's the next morning. It's the girl's official birthday. And then Catherine's made peanut butter pancakes, not knowing that Daphne doesn't like peanut butter.
Peanut butter chocolate chip pancakes.
Oh, excuse me. Those sound really good. Sorry to Daphne that she doesn't like that. But also she asks, do you want syrup or whipped cream? Both.
Who do you think I am?
Is there a world where it's either or for people? I've never encountered that.
I think you need both.
Yeah, she says it like it's standard.
Whipped cream is like...
It goes on top.
Pancakes are too dry with just whipped cream.
Especially peanut butter ones.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, Daphne's wearing this long color-blocked t-shirt that I actually don't hate.
Okay.
But it does look like something a 35-year-old should be wearing.
And that's her wardrobe, really. She says sorry about the car, and then John and Catherine say, whatever.
Whatever. We love you. It's your birthday. And then Bay walks in, and she's wearing all black and yet another cropped gray blazer, but a different one than the last one. And
she has so many cropped gray blazers in that closet.
Yes, she does. She's got a rotation. And Catherine is like, what happened to your hands? She's like, girl, I don't want to talk about it. Something with the rose bushes.
Yeah, that was a bad lie, but they stop asking.
Yeah, Catherine does not follow up. They're just so excited because they have the little birthday hats on the table for the girls, and they want to take a photo. And
it's also the two girls' birthdays together for the first time.
First time. And Bay's like, no matter what they say to you, you do not have to wear the hat. And a second later, they are wearing the hat.
It's cute.
It's really sweet.
And they don't eat the pancakes.
No.
Your mom made you this beautiful breakfast.
The reasoning behind it is, one, if you ever see food on TV, it's been sprayed with chemicals to keep it looking like hot and fresh. Mm-hmm. And the chemicals are so up close, like it's inedible. I was in a lot of like dinner scenes when I was a background actor. So we would just like have food in front of us that was like basically sprayed with like plastic coating.
Okay.
Yeah.
The more you know.
So most of the time, if you see food on a set, it's actually not edible. But yeah, they really skip the birthday breakfast. And then at Emmett's, Melody has found this really intense, gigantic bandage.
It looks like a pad.
It almost looks like a diaper. It is comically large.
I was like, oh, did Bay get her period?
You should have lied and said that.
That would have been a great lie.
That would have been way better than what he says, which is, oh yeah, I cut my stomach playing football at my friend's house.
Yeah, he like fell on a sprinkler at his friend Jackson's house. And Melly's like, so I know you're lying. She sees him. It doesn't look like he ever cleaned it, which is on him. You should be cleaning your wounds.
Oh, it looks better. He's a boy.
You have to clean your cuts, guys. You can get an infection.
Fellas, is it gay if you clean your wounds?
And Melly rightfully is like, what the hell is that?
And the lie doesn't go that well, but he's just like, we're going to be late for the birthday party.
And she immediately connects the dots because they go to the Canishes. Bay answers the door and she has cuts on her hands.
Yeah.
Melly's like, ding, ding, ding. Bay did this.
She pulls Emmett aside immediately. She's like, so what? Are you guys into rough sex? Are you cutting each other? And he's like, Mom, oh my God, nothing happened. And then he's like, I'm not going to tell you because you already hate Bay. And she's like, yeah, clearly for good reason. I see both sides of this. I think
she's like, you're sneaking around,
Yeah.
you're lying, and you're coming home with like cuts and bruises.
Yeah, I think when it starts to be a safety issue, like I think she has fair reason to be worried. I also think that Bay is like such a sheltered person and like doesn't understand how other people move through the world still. We saw this a lot with Ty. And so I think that Melody's right to be like, this girl is not going to accommodate. Like she's making you bend to what she wants.
And also, you're getting someone involved in something criminal.
Yeah.
Which we will see later on.
Yeah.
But like a deaf boy in the criminal justice system, it does not go well.
Bay hasn't faced any consequences thus
And
far.
I think she thinks he's also exempt.
She's just like not thinking about it. So yeah, Melody's like, I don't like that girl.
Do you see what Bay's wearing?
It's like a dress situation. It's very
She's
confusing.
wearing a jumpsuit. It's a zipper jumpsuit.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
What?
I think.
I don't think it is. I think it's like a sweater dress.
But it has zippers all over it.
Yeah, it has zippers all over it, but I don't
I
think
thought it
it's
was a jumpsuit.
Oh, God.
Is it a jumpsuit?
No, sorry, I got distracted. I'm looking at this photo of Daphne from the Wiki fan page.
Bright teal dress, destroying her stuff.
It's like a sweater dress situation. I'll look it up when I screenshot photos from the episode.
But it's not good.
No, it's not. None of the looks are good.
It's birthday dinner time.
It's cake time.
I just thought it was interesting how everyone was anticipating this giant party, but it's just a small dinner.
With no other people. I know that, again,
even
budgets
other
are small. Nobody in this situation has any other friends. The parents aren't like, where's Simone, Bay's best friend that she's always hanging out with?
Don't have the budget for Simone yet.
But Regina walks up and she's like, I've never missed any of Daphne's birthdays, and now I'm not going to miss any more of Bay's, which is sweet.
Yeah, and Bay agrees.
Yeah, John's like, I'm not okay with this. And Bay's like, I want her here. And I really appreciated, John was so ready. He was like winding up to go off. And Bay was like, I want her here. And he just stops. He goes, okay, great. And he sits back down. And then we get a very silent birthday stretch where they're all just like eating cake and no one's really talking.
But then Catherine comes up and gives a really sweet speech.
Third time in the episode that I teared up.
16 years ago, I gave birth to a beautiful girl, and I brought home another beautiful girl.
She said she feels lucky.
Yeah.
And then Bay's like, okay, let's do presents. Which she says presents plural, but because the Kenishes already got them both cars, it's just
Emmett.
It's just Bay opening a gift from Emmett and then Daphne opening a gift from Emmett.
Nothing from Adriana
or Toby? No.
Toby?
No. So just the car and then whatever Emmett's got going on. And Emmett, Bay opens the gift and it's a scarf.
And a card that just says, from Emmett.
You should have like prepped her for this.
Like beforehand.
But like, just so you know, your present isn't your real present.
She's so disappointed, as I would be too.
Yeah.
I hate opening presents in front of like groups of people.
No.
And I also don't like, especially growing up when I would go to birthday parties.
Yeah, I don't want to watch someone open their presents either.
Because growing up, I would either be really jealous or to feel weird if they didn't like my gift. Or like, oh, I already have it. And I'm like, well,
That's
no.
insane. Their parents should have told them not to say that.
I know. I remember once, we went to some sleepover. I must have been like 7 or 8. And the girl opened gifts in front of everyone. And for other people, she was like, oh my God, I love it. I've always wanted this. And then she opened mine, which my parents probably got from Toys R Us. And she was just like, oh, okay. That's nice.
She said, okay.
It wasn't that exact wording. I don't remember what it was, but she was just like trying to be nice about it instead of being so excited like she was with the others. And I was like, well, this is stupid.
I hate opening gifts in front of people also.
Me too.
Because I feel like I have to perform
You do have to perform.
an emotion that they want.
Christmas is the worst day ever for me. I have to open all these gifts and be so thrilled about all of them.
Yeah, the only person I ever want to open gifts in front of or I want to watch open gifts is Paulo.
Same with A.
Yeah, just because I'm not faking it. You know?
No.
Otherwise, even when I get someone a gift I'm really excited about, if they're like, I'm not going to open it in front of you, I'm like, that's so fair. I respect it. So then it's Daphne's turn, and she is cracking up at the card that Emmett has written for her.
Cracking up.
She's like, oh my God, you didn't. And she opens it, and it is a signed copy and poster of Deafenstein.
Deafenstein, not Defula.
Yeah. Call back to our last episode if you've listened. This is inspired by Defula.
Yes, Deafenstein, an ASL horror movie with deaf people from the 70s, I guess, and it's really bad.
Yeah, and Daphne and Emmett are obsessed with it.
Yes.
And he reveals that 6 months ago he drove to Springfield to a horror convention to get
150 miles away.
Yeah, to get the creator, the filmmaker, to sign it, or the director or someone.
Charles Danes.
Yeah. It's to get Charles Danes to sign it.
He also got her a t-shirt.
It's a whole Deafenstein fan package, basically. And she's stoked.
Head over heels.
She's so excited. And then we basically cut immediately to Bae sulking in her art studio. And Emmett comes in and she's like, thanks again for the scarf. The way she says scarf in this episode, she's like, it's a scarf. Yeah, so she's like trying to be positive. And he's like,
just kidding. It's a blindfold.
I have chills. Yeah, it's a blindfold. And she's like, what?
Kinky.
That was my first thought also. And then he puts it on her and we get this little like spin shot, a little dolly shot on the camera, and it spins and suddenly they're in the parking lot looking up at her piece. I have a question for you.
I have a million questions.
My first thought was, do we think that he blindfolds her and then walks her all the way out of the Kenish house to his motorcycle or car and then drives them while she's still blindfolded? Or do you think he's just like puts it on and then is like, haha, okay, let's go, and then like they take it off and they leave? Like, how do they exit the Kenish house?
But when they transfer it to the next scene at the billboard, she takes off the blindfold.
Exactly. Implying that she's been wearing this blindfold
the whole time. I would be so dizzy.
Not only would I be dizzy, but like, is no one else around? Where's Melody? Like, no one else has clocked that. I don't know. I would have questions. I feel that leading a blindfolded Bae out of the Kenish house on her birthday would provoke questions.
I agree.
From other members of the family.
I like to think you blindfolded her, put her on this motorcycle, drove to however far the parking lot is.
Yeah.
And then she took it off. It's a local high school, so maybe like a 10, 15-minute trip.
Yeah. Also, the Kenishes still don't know that Bae's been riding around on Emmett's motorcycle. So can't wait for that to blow up.
Maybe they're all in bed. I don't know.
No, because Regina and Catherine are outside cleaning up. Anyway, they get there. The big reveal is he has put Bae's art up on the billboard by himself somehow, even though she was going to need help.
1, how do you get up there by yourself? 2, how would he know how to spray paint that?
It's stencil based, right?
But where did he get the materials?
So true, actually. You're right.
How would he know how to do that?
And it looks great. I think it's Bae's
fantastic.
It's Bae's best work.
Yeah, it's a picture of a girl blowing out candles on a cake, but the candles are made of dynamite.
Yeah.
And it's pretty good.
It's cute. Like, I think it's my favorite. Does it qualify as Axe Girl? Like, it's my favorite Axe Girl variation.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, she's like, wow. And then he's like, and I'm sorry, I haven't told Daphne about us yet.
And she said, it's okay.
She
I'll
says,
tell her.
it's okay. And then, yeah, she's like, I think it would be better coming from me. No, it wouldn't, girl.
No, it wouldn't.
It definitely wouldn't. Yeah, and then back at the house, Daphne is sitting
In
in
her
the car,
Volvo.
sulking, and Regina comes in and is like, I have a gift for you. And it's just like, it's a bunch of recipes that Daphne cooks, and then takeout menus
And cereal box top.
and cereal box tops. What the fuck? I know that the point of it is like Regina's so bad at gift giving.
She did look like she scrapbooked it and made it with a lot of thought in it. So I was like, it's so mean when Daphne's like, this is the worst birthday present ever, but also she's not wrong.
Especially because she's mad at her mom right now. This is an insane thing to be like, and by the way, on the day that you got a car from your other parents who you're not mad at,
I'm getting you a bunch of pieces of paper.
here is literally garbage in a box that I've glued together.
Yeah. You couldn't do better?
Get her like a gift card. And then Regina's like, and I think you should keep this car.
Yeah, that was kind of it.
I'm like, okay, whatever, girl. I don't
Plus,
know.
Daphne already dinged it, so.
True, they can't give it back now.
Nope.
And Daphne's like, I've been trying really hard to forgive you, but I just keep getting mad all over again. It's been like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. Give it a second.
Give it some time. I guess from there, she decides to go back to her room in the Kenish house,
Yes.
and she's watching Deafenstein, and she is cracking up.
And like, not even funny part.
It keeps cutting to Deafenstein.
And it's like someone walking. She's like, oh my god, this is the funniest thing.
It's Deafenstein like chasing after someone. It's like not a funny part of the movie. And it, I don't know. It was really, she is cackling just by herself.
By herself.
Just like laughing it up. And then Bay comes in to quote check on Daphne. But really, I think she was trying to be like, hey, let me tell you about Emmett. It's her birthday.
Can you wait till the next morning?
Yeah. Yeah. She's like, I'm gonna tell you something. And Daphne's like, I'm actually having such a good day because I realized there's someone who's been here for me this entire time.
And it's not just my mom.
And it's not my traitor mom. It's Emmett. And Bay's like, oh, like you have feelings for him? And Daphne goes, maybe. Girl, maybe?
End of episode.
And that's the end of the episode. But also maybe after that gift, when he's clearly been in love with you forever and you're like, I don't know, maybe.
He drove hours to get this poster signed for you.
Yeah, if that's not enough, then no, I think you don't have feelings for him. I think that's evidence that you don't.
Right. Maybe.
So that's the end of the episode.
Yeah. Love triangle.
Usually when there's a love triangle in a show or a book or movie, anything, my solution is that everybody kiss. But since Bay and Daphne are kind of proxy sisters, I guess they shouldn't kiss.
No, they shouldn't kiss. No kissing for them. Like Emma has sister wives.
I always thought it was odd that sister wives don't also make out with each other.
We don't know that for sure.
Yeah, but we can't, like it.
Yeah, they're Mormons.
Traditionally, they don't.
Yeah, probably not.
No, I remember watching Sister Wives growing up on TLC and being like, what is the point of being all married to the same man if you're not also going to kiss? But also, I'm queer, so that's probably part of it. But I was like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Why aren't these beautiful women kissing?
Yeah.
I get it. As someone who's also watched like nearly every episode of Sister Wives. Such a good show.
I know they've like all divorced him.
Yes, they've all left him except Robin.
Yeah, the success rate for Sister Wives is so much lower than the success rate for deaf hearing relationships. So
why don't they come at them more?
Yeah.
Leave the deaf and hearing marriages alone.